People, hello and welcome to the podcast Stop Crying Poser. Greatest podcast known to man is voted by Charles Bennett, the Crazy Horse, Charlie Brown, and Charizard. Oh man, who do you guys think voted this as the greatest podcast ever? Come up with 3 names, let me know in the comments below. Let's give a shout out to everyone who's tuning in live right now. We have OG Mickey, Chic Ninja, INO, GRINCHES, Speaking Light, Show Sheepy, INO, Chic Ninja, and maybe even a couple of other live viewers. Today is Friday. The time is right around 3 p.m. We are on twitch.tv/Ninja Lifestyle, and that is where the podcast Stop Crying Poser takes place. So if you're listening to this at a later time, stop doing that. Come tune in live so that you can have a chance to win a free Ninja Lifestyle sticker pack. What other podcast gives away stickers? I don't fucking know, because it does not exist. Motherfuckers, we're going to go ahead and start with trivia question today, just to reward those of you who did tune in on time, which actually is weird because usually I'm not on time. Usually I'm the one that's late. But since you guys showed up early, I'm going to reward you guys with a Ninja Lifestyle sticker pack. All you have to do is answer a trivia question correctly. Today's trivia question has to do with cartoons, cards, I suppose, video games. This should be a really easy trivia question for anyone in the world. It was inspired by one of the 3 people who voted this as the greatest podcast of all time. So all you have to do is type in the correct answer, and these will be shipped to you free of charge. The question is, when you're playing the Pokemon game on Game Boy, I know most of you should be familiar with it. I know I'm a little bit older than some of you, but you guys should know the basics. What are the 3 Pokemon that you are given at the beginning? You only get to have one of them, but you get to pick one of 3. And I'll accept anything that sounds remotely close. You don't have to spell everything correctly, but just name those first 3 Pokemon. One is a fire Pokemon, one's a water Pokemon, one's a plant Pokemon, which, man, wouldn't you know it, when I first got that game, I ended up with that bitch-ass plant Pokemon. And it was really the worst because most people who know about Pokemon at the time, they would just reset their game. I didn't know that the plant Pokemon was the most bitch-ass one to have. INO says Charmander, Squirtle. Nope, that's not all 3. The Ismail is cool, says Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. You are the winner. Talk to me on either Twitch or Instagram, or even on Discord. You guys can use that Discord command, and you guys will have a chance to get this. I mean, you don't have a chance. You're the one who got it. You're the winner. You're the #1 winner. So get at me. Give me your contact information, and these will be shipped directly to your house free of charge because you are the smartest fucking person in the chat. You have truly caught them all. Guy just says, choosing Bulbasaur to start. What a disaster. I know. What the fuck? I didn't know that was bad. I looked at him. I was like, cool, man. He got a flower on his back. Looks like some type of Asian tattoo. Sick. Like, how was I supposed to know that Charmander would be way better? Even Squirtle was cool, but I mean, basically, you get to choose between a turtle that's just a shitty turtle, a turtle that's fucking half flower, or a dragon. So if it was any other game in history where you're like, hey, you want to be a dragon or some weird fucking turtle, you'd always pick dragon. Unless it was Ninja Turtles. Then if you got a dragon, you'd be fucking mad. I don't know. It made no sense. Speaking Light says, throw away your starter and use Mankey. Level 5. Where do they come up with these fucking names? Here's the thing about Pokemon that always confused me. Among many, many things on Pokemon always confused me. There was one Pokemon who was a mime. Like, just some fucking... It's not even... A mime doesn't exist in nature. What? How would this thing just evolve? There was one that was a kickboxer. Like, that's not even natural. I could totally understand one that's, like, related to a monkey and then one that's a dragon, you know? But a fucking kickboxer, like, those just appear in nature? And another... I don't know, man. Or some were fish. One was a bird that could fly. Okay, like those... Like, in some way, it reminds you of something that does exist, but it just didn't make sense. It's like almost saying, like, oh, there's the fucking Mexican salesman Pokemon. Like, what? What do you mean, the Mexican salesman? Oh, you know, he just walks around and gives you pieces of corn, and that's his attack. What do you fucking mean? Where did this come from? This has nothing to do with nature or animals. Fucking a mime and a kickboxer? I don't understand. And then one was just like a chemical. Wasn't one just a magnet? What? They just... Who is coming up with this shit? Here's what it is. They named like 15 Pokemon, then they were just like, hey, dude, we're running out of shit here, dude. Let's just have one that's a magnet, one that's just an actual fart. It's just a fart Pokemon. It's just a cloud of fart. And then, oh, I'm glad I fucking grew out of that shit. By the way, guys, Andy Schrock has a channel right now. He's in his 30s of him playing with Pokemon cards. So definitely go check that out. I think Keith King has one too. I don't know what the fuck is going on with these people. I really don't understand. I remember back in the day, here's what would happen. You would always talk shit to somebody who had Pokemon cards. I mean, not everyone would, but I would, because I didn't have any. So I'd always be like, why are you playing with these stupid-ass cards? They don't do anything, right? I was more of a video game guy. Like, man, go play Super Nintendo. Why would you want to play with this bullshit? And then the response would be, well, you know what, dude? If I wanted to, I could sell these and make some money. And it's like, dude, who the fuck is going to pay you for some fucking pieces of paper? I'm sure there's a couple out there that are valuable, but in reality, no one ever fucking sold a book. No one ever was like, hey, dude, like, listen, I'm 13 years old. I need this money because I want to buy a blank. Like, just name it. I want to take guitar lessons, so I'm going to need to sell this Charizard. I won't let it go for anything less than $250. They'd laugh at you, and then they'd spit on you. And then they would do some Pokemon move on you. They'd squirt you. They'd piss on you. Oh, man. So, Pokemon. I don't know how long have we been rambling about Pokemon? What, fucking 6 minutes already? Jesus Christ. Oh, in the podcast today, we will discuss some news stories. You now have to be 21 years old in America to buy cigarettes. That's kind of crazy, right? Because you can buy a gun. You can buy one of many guns. I think it's still at the age of 18. Although I'm not sure about that rule either. Here's what it is. Once I turned 21, I stopped worrying about what the fuck 18-year-olds had to struggle with. You know what I mean? When I turned 21, I quit giving a fuck about the drinking age. And cigarettes too. Turn 18, you're like, dude, I don't give a fuck about the age. But here's what would suck. Let's say you were fucking 19 years old. You just got super addicted to smoking, and now they changed it. That sucks for you. We'll talk a little bit about that later. I've been sick all week. We're going to talk about my Christmas. I'd like to hear a little bit about your guys' Christmas in the chat if we could do that. We're going to talk about my drunk friend. We're going to talk about this new pistol I got. I have some questions about CBD. And just a couple of real basic, short topics today. Because, like I said, I've been sick all week. Now, it's not the normal sick. Here's the thing that's been going on with me. I never get sick. You guys have been watching me on stream for several years. At least I know a lot of you have. I recognize a lot of these names. Iano has been around forever. Guy just has been. Speaking Light. OG Mickey. I'm never sick on stream. You guys probably can't remember me being sick on stream at all. And when it does hit me, I'm always like just side blinded. I have no idea what's going on. And I got sick. And then the next day I feel like I'm better. And then the next day I'm sick again. And then the next day I'm better again. Next day I'm sick again. And now here I am on like the 6th day. And I don't know how to feel. But we are going to cut this podcast a little bit short today. Just because it's my throat now. First it was my head and my back and my bones. Then it became my throat. And it's just going back and forth. What the fuck is wrong with me? Is it the flu? My grandpa always tells me, you should go get a flu shot. He doesn't fucking talk like that at all. I don't know why I made him sound like some weird country. You should, some old wise man in a cartoon. You should go get the flu shot, sonny boy. He always tells me to get the flu shot. And I'm always like, dude, I watched this one article one time, this chick, which probably later came out to be fake. Do you guys remember this? Some fucking teenage girl went to get the flu shot. And please tell me this. Okay. If anyone remembers this, she got the flu shot and then it fucked up the chemicals in her brain and she was no longer like able to jog. Or no, she was no longer able to walk. If she walked, she had a brain problem. But if she jogged, her brain would make her jog normal. So she would walk and she'd be like dizzy and shaky, and her fucking legs would go all different directions, and her fucking arms would spasm, and she'd like look all crazy. And then if she jogged, she could jog normal. But if she walked, it was like this weird like cerebral palsy thing, all fucked up. If you guys haven't seen that video, you got to go watch it. I think it later turned out that she was faking it the whole time, which that is a genius thing. If that was true, I might be making some of this up. This is not this is not a reliable source, me trying to remember things. But if I remember correctly, she got proved wrong later. Because they caught her, like, you know, fucking months later walking like a normal person without this issue. Oh, man, I wish you guys could see the video. If somebody could find it and link it in the chat, it's really good. You'd have to make it a YouTube link, though, because other links are not allowed. But it's this chick who can't fucking walk because of a flu shot. And ever since then, I've been like, I don't want to get a flu shot. Imagine if I tried to skateboard, it affected the skateboard part of my brain. I'm just like, every time I try to skate. That'd be terrible. But I'm thinking maybe I really do have the flu. If you guys remember the weed stream, Tex came over, put his sickness germs on my favorite blanket on the part of the couch where I sit on, and then he left and he threw up all outside. He just came to spread his flu germs and then left. And I think maybe that's what I got. But that was pretty whack. Christmas. I was not feeling great on Christmas, and neither was Lily. She's kind of caught the sickness too. But we made the most fantastic meal. She made this like bacon linguine with just really good sauce on it. I'm trying to think of what the sauce was. It was just cream and onions and bacon. And then on top of it, these seared scallops on top, and then asparagus on the side, cooked in butter, a little bit of bacon grease on those too. And then on the side of that, a ribeye that I cooked. Oh my God, there's a picture of it in the Discord. Excellent Christmas meal. But as far as celebrating Christmas, we didn't do anything. We haven't done gifts. We haven't done like a tree. We didn't do Christmas lights. We didn't do really anything. The neighbors across the street sent us some Christmas cookies, but I don't really like cookies that much. I don't really eat sweets. Asian John has this theory that I drink so much alcohol that my body doesn't crave sugar anymore, which makes sense to me because whenever I stop drinking alcohol, I do start to crave sugar. So it makes total sense to me, but the meal was just so good, and that's really all I need to have a great Christmas. I do hope you guys had a good Christmas. Go ahead and right now in the chat, let me know if you got anything you think is special. If you got any nice presents from a relative or whatever. My grandpa gave me $200. Here's the thing. He gives me money. You know, I'm an old man already. I don't need money from my grandpa, but here's his stance, and I have the same stance. Once you get to a certain age, it's kind of like if you want to go get something, you just go out and you buy it. So that's what we do. Whenever he wants something, he goes out and buys it. He likes to golf and he likes to play pool. If he wants a new pool stick or a new golf balls or something, he goes out and buys it. So what the fuck is the point of me buying some shit? First off, if I buy golf balls, I'm going to buy the wrong ones. Just like him, if he tried to buy me a skateboard product, he would get the wrong one. So he just gives me money and says, hey, go buy something you like. Usually I spend it on cologne or something like that. I still haven't spent it at all. The $200 is sitting right on my nightstand. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But that's what my Christmas was. It looks like nobody in the chat wanted to share what they got. Watson Punk says, oh, you don't want a Walmart skateboard? I think he would know better than to get me a Walmart skateboard. Also, he knows that I had my own skate brand for like 3 years. My fucking living room was filled with fucking hundreds and hundreds of skateboards. Wouldn't that be something if he's like, I got you a skateboard. It has like a fucking... My first skateboard ever had a NASCAR. It had a NASCAR on it. That's what it was. It was a fucking picture of a stock car. Why would anyone want that on their skateboard? Okay, here's the thing. Most skateboard fans, probably not NASCAR fans. Most NASCAR fans, probably not skateboard fans. But that was my first ever skateboard. It made no fucking sense. Also, I remember that we took it back. Here's how crazy I was as a kid. We took it back once and then got another one. We took it back because when you pushed it and it rolled, it would kind of like turn, which now that I'm older, it's kind of like every skateboard's going to do that. That's why you loosen the trucks, you can just lean. But I remember we rolled it and I was like, see, I got a bad skateboard, my shit turns. And we took it back, got another one, and of course the other one turned too. And I'm just like, dude, every fucking skateboard I get just turns. What's up with this? I got bad luck with skateboards. I need a skateboard that goes, it just like links up with my brain and goes exactly where I want to go. That's the skateboard I need. I don't know what the fuck this bullshit Walmart shit is, but I know if I had a birdhouse, it would just link with my brain on some Iron Man shit and just know where I wanted to go. While I'm at it, get me one that kickflips, motherfucker. Shit. How do we get on this topic? What was I talking about? Oh, Christmas presents. So we don't really buy each other presents. I'm guilty right now. Okay, the date, if you're watching this live, is I think the 28th. Oh, it's the 27th right now. I still haven't gotten him a Christmas card. I'm gonna go get one today. I have to get one because he demands a Christmas card. He doesn't demand it. Like, he doesn't demand it, but like, I would be an unhonorable grandson if I didn't get him a fucking card. You know what I mean? Because he'll look at the card and he'll like it. He'll say, hey, fucking you're the best grandpa ever. Fucking I love you. Something like that. And then he'll probably read it and go, oh, that's nice. You know, something like that. So I have to do that. I am a piece of shit for not doing that yet. But, hey, news to me, a lot of places close on Christmas. I don't know why that is. Just trying to learn how to be an adult. But every goddamn day I want to go to the store, it's fucking closed. I'm surprised my internet works today, and my computer hasn't tried to restart, because as you guys know, every fucking Friday, Windows Update just decides to happen. We still have 3 minutes until it's 3:30, so let's cross our fucking fingers that we don't get our podcast ruined. Everything in my life that's good fucking comes to an end very quickly. So a couple days before Christmas, I was at the bar, telling you guys more stories about this past week, and it's me and Lily. We're kind of tired. We're having a regular ass day, you know, gamble our $20, drink a couple beers. I think I was having a vodka Sprite. It's my new thing, vodka Sprite. I started doing vodka sodas for a while, and then I realized that I have taste buds, so I want my shit to taste kind of sweet or nice in some way. So I'm sitting there drinking, and then my friend DC says, hey, I want to come hang out. And I go, oh, okay, like, you're not too bad. You're kind of reckless, you know, kind of get too drunk, too loud, whatever, that's fine. You know what? It's about to be Christmas. He said, I'm bringing Nick G. And I said, oh, fuck. Like, my homie Nick G gets too drunk sometimes. And sometimes he'll just kind of be too annoying and he'll get us in trouble. Sometimes he'll try to start a fight. And then they go, oh, yeah, we're going to bring his girlfriend too. And I go, oh, fuck. This is like a code red situation. His girlfriend is a fucking psychopath who's always loud and obnoxious and is very likely to get us kicked out. So my fucking spider sense is going off. And the bartender, who is our friend, he's like, okay, if those guys come over, just tell them to chill out, because last time they were here, they were kind of loud and obnoxious. And I was like, okay, cool. Sent a text message, said, hey, chill out. First thing they do is they come in, they start fucking screaming. They're yelling. Nick G's in sort of an argument with his chick. DC's already drunk. And I'm just like, God damn it, dude. I couldn't even enjoy my drinks. I couldn't enjoy anything. They're just yelling and they're arguing. Nick G's arguing with his chick, and he comes over to me. And here's the thing, man. He's just like, he's really like, he likes to bring up the past a lot. So I guess there was one time he boxed with DC, and they're like, they're bringing up this fucking time when they boxed from fucking 3 years ago. They boxed in my backyard with the boxing gloves, and they like to talk about this. I don't know what it is with alcohol. Nick G becomes a broken record. He's like, yeah, man, but I might be small, but I could hit though. And DC's like, no, like you weren't fighting very good that night at all. You kind of sucked that night. You're probably good in real life, but when I boxed you, you were drunk. And he's like, nah, man, but for a skinny guy, man, I could hit though. And I'm just like, you know, I'm in the middle of this whole thing. Like, dude, please, God, let them go home. And then of course this conversation turns into them talking shit to each other and getting loud with each other. And then it becomes, you know, fucking Nick's chick saying, fucking leave him alone. Come sit by me. Come sit by me. And then it's just more drunkenness and more yelling. And then at one point he goes, nah, man, hey, what women don't understand is when men are arguing with each other, it means we like each other. See, what women don't understand is when we're messing around, we're just messing around. See, I could say some shit like that, and we could be fighting, and we're actually friends. See, what women don't understand is we're two guys, we're fucking around because we're friends, though. But women, they don't understand. So what women don't understand is this motherfucker went on for a goddamn hour saying the same fucking thing over and over again. A fucking hour. 60 straight goddamn minutes of telling me that women don't understand when men. What women don't understand is when two guys are fighting or arguing, they're actually friends, dude. And I was just like, oh my god, like shut the fuck up. Lily's told him to shut up. I told him to shut up, and then it becomes like, oh, I gotta shut up. Oh, I gotta shut up. I gotta shut up. Oh, me? Maybe we should go talk outside. I gotta shut up. Maybe we should go talk outside. I was like, dude, Jesus Christ. It was so terrible. It was embarrassing. It was terrible. And then I had to leave. I tried to gather everybody up. Like, let's get out of here. You know what? We got to wake up early. Whatever, Christmas coming up. Let's get out of here. See you later. I thought I was going to make it like if I leave, everyone would leave. But I don't think they did. And, of course, the next day the bartender was like, hey, those guys are really obnoxious and terrible. Maybe don't invite them over to my bar anymore if they're going to be that annoying. And then I'm like, dude, I know. I should have known. I'm sorry. That sucks. Then I see Nick G a couple days later. We did this bunker reunion because we got some friend in town from the Philippines named Ping, who we all used to skate with like 15 years ago. And Nick G's like, hey, man, I was fucked up the other day, huh? And I'm like, yeah, you kind of ruined my night. You know, it's really fucking annoying. And then, he's like, yeah, man, I was blacked out when I showed up. And I'm like, then why the fuck did you leave the house? You know what I mean? In my mind, I didn't say that shit out loud. I'm telling you guys all this because I know Nick G will never fucking watch my podcast or support me in any way. See, the reason I can fuck with him like that is because he's my friend, and I can say fucked up shit like that because he's my friend. Oh my goodness, yeah. So my thing is just like, dude, if you knew you was fucking blacked out, shit-faced drunk already, why would you get in a car and come over? Obviously, he didn't drive, but why would you do that? What's the point of that? I don't understand it. As far as Christmas presents, I did buy myself a new pistol. I got the M&P 2.0 5-inch barrel. I'm pretty happy with that. As you guys can see, it's much bigger than a little pocket pistol. It's way fucking bigger. This is a monster. This motherfucker is a monster. I'm in the market now to try to find a nice light for it. But I finally got rid of that SIG P226, the gray one or the silver one or nickel-plated one. I don't know exactly what it was, but I'm glad I finally got rid of that. Sold it to somebody, and now it's no longer taking up space at my house. Got a brand new pistol I really enjoy. If anyone has any information on lights, let me know about that. I want to follow that up with a real question for you guys. A real-life question that I feel like you guys might know about because you guys are goddamn geniuses. I always say I want to get into the CBD business, right? I want to start taking CBD. They say it's good for your joints, good for your body, maybe even good for your mind. I don't know. But I often read not only about rip-off CBDs, but also just rip-off CBD applications. I remember Andy Schrock was drinking a CBD water, and I looked it up, and it turns out that shit's barely fucking real. It turns out CBD, when you put it in water, it loses its potency when it's exposed to too much light, and then it doesn't really do anything for you. Then I think to myself, okay, well, I see a lot of friends using the CBD cream on their knees. Then I think to myself, wait a minute, like your skin is supposed to absorb this shit? That doesn't sound right. I looked it up. Turns out it's not really that right because your skin can't really absorb shit like that. So I find like that's out. Then I think to myself, okay, like what the fuck am I supposed to do? You're supposed to vape it, and then I find drops. I guess you're supposed to drop it under your tongue. So I need to figure out how to do that. I also need to figure out if I can get a CBD sponsor in some way. Watson Punk says use the CBD suppository. I've, believe it or not, got that recommended to me multiple times. Something about the internet. Always, something about asking for advice on the internet always comes back to having something to do with my asshole or, you know, some shit like that. I don't understand it. Speaking Light says they call it microdosing. Yeah, I got to figure it out. But if anyone has any information on that, either now or in the future, when this podcast comes out again on Sunday, maybe you guys can let me know on that. I want to do it, man. I think something about just being, sick for the past few days and my body's being weak and shit really makes me want to make some type of change to where hopefully I never have to feel like this again, because it is really uncomfortable to be sick in any way. And I think I really take for granted how healthy I always am. I don't know if this is true, but I got two two funny theories about why maybe I never get sick. First off, the hot sauce theory. Okay, they say that when you eat really fucking hot sauce, it flushes out your system. Is that true? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, if I was a flu germ, if I was a little piece of flu bacteria crawling around and then some fucking hot sauce landed on me, I'd probably die, right? That's how. Science with Steve. We're about to get real fucking deep right now. And I know I've heard multiple people say that those Wing King guys, whenever they eat a really spicy wing or whatever, it flushes out their system. It might be true. I don't know. I'm just saying, if I was a germ, that's because that's a logical way to look at things. I would be like, no, it's too hot, melting. Also, I always use this excuse. The amount of alcohol in my body on any given day does not allow anything to live. I don't know how everything else inside me lives. I think everything is tolerant. Everything's gotten used to it. But you got to give me like an alcoholic flu germ. You got to give me a OG of drinking, the 211. You got to give me a 211 infused malt liquor germ. A 8% fucking germ needs to come try to get me if they want to fuck with me. But I don't know if that's going to be a thing. So yeah, CBD is what I need to get into, because this whole drinking and hot sauce might not be getting the job done. I had a random thought today. Smooth transition about immigration. And I know this is something we talk about every couple weeks here. I have some friends on Facebook that absolutely hate the idea that we have, closed borders here. They hate the idea that there's like a wall, we should let everyone in, there should be no rules. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. You guys are the same people, I noticed today, that also complain about homeless people. They say, oh, we need to give homeless people a place to stay. And I thought to myself, as a metaphor, what do you think would happen? And I have specific people in mind here. So usually when I tell these stories, it's like really like obscure. I'm just kind of saying what if, and there's like a imaginary person in my mind. But right now today, there's a real person in my mind who I see on Facebook talking all this shit, and they have their own house. So I think it would be funny if we gathered up a group of homeless people and walked them over to that house and said, hey, these homeless people, they need a place to stay. And just to see what that house owner would do. Just to see if they'd go, okay, yeah, I'd love to open my house and help somehow. And then let a couple in. And then I'd bring a few more. And they'd say, oh, like my house is full right now. And I'd go, yeah, America's fucking full right now. But you still feel the need to talk a bunch of shit on Facebook. You need to live by what you say. First off, never lock your door ever again. Nothing belongs to you. Okay, this country existed before you had this house here. So this is everybody's house. This house is everyone's house. That guitar is everyone's guitar. That food is everyone's guitar. All that beer that you bought, that's everyone's beer because it was on this land before fucking you were. And homeless people, they belong everywhere they want to be because it's everyone's land, it's everyone's place, everyone's allowed, and there's no laws. Laws do nothing. No one has a law. Also, these are the same people that say fuck cops all the time. So as soon as you try to call the police, please remember that Facebook post from a week ago when he said fuck all cops. And also, please remember the one that said we should open our homes to homeless people. Also, please remember that one that said all land and everything, all things in the world belong to everyone. Please remember all that. And I just, in my mind, this is all directed at one person, but I feel like we all probably have a couple friends like that post that type of bullshit on Facebook, but would never actually act by it. And guy just brings up Steve-topia. In Steve-topia resembles America in a lot of ways, right? If this is my house, I'm allowed to decide who comes in and who goes out of it, right? If I don't want you in my house, in Steve-topia, in Steve's perfect world, in the Ninja Lifestyle perfect world, if I don't want you in my house, you're not allowed in it. Which is funny, I live here in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's kind of how the law goes. If I don't want you to trespass into my house, I can say, hey, no, don't do that. Kind of like this country, if it doesn't want you to trespass, it'll say, hey, nah, don't do that. Or you can ask, fill out the paperwork, and then you can come in. Everything's cool. That's fine. Same thing you do with my house. All you have to do is become my friend, get invited to a barbecue, and then you are welcome to enter my home. Because the way that I explain this shit is the same way that I would act on it if it was my home. But some people, the way that they explain it is not the way that they would act on it if it was their home. And I think that's a little bit hypocritical, if you ask me. Now, I'm not saying, fuck immigrants. Please don't fucking take me out of context here. I'm just saying the point of this is, why is it that there's this big group of people, and there's always been this group of people that will sort of say one thing on the social media to try to, I suppose, make them feel helpful, I guess, in some way, or maybe elite in some way. Maybe it's this sort of weird version of narcissism. They write these things, but they would never, ever act on them. Much like the trolls on YouTube, right? If I ever see you, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. If you ever see me, do you live in Australia? I'm never going to Australia. You're never coming to America. So the whole, how like when you're programming, there's the if-then kind of thing. Like, if the value is over 2, then make this false. If your if is always never going to happen, then why make the threat? You know what I mean? It's almost like me being like, if I was black, I'd beat your ass. Well, never going to be black, so why even say it in the first place? You know what I mean? If 5 plus 5 was 7, I'd beat your ass. Well, 5 plus 5 is not 7, so totally safe. Completely safe. I love the internet trolls to do that. How about this one? You guys ever get this? Hey, man, fucking... I'm trying to think of a crazy country. Hey, man, why don't you come to the UK and say that? What? Why? Why don't I come to the UK and say I don't like scooter riders in skate parks? Why don't I come to the UK and say I don't like scooter riders in my Las Vegas skate park, Bunker skate park? I'm going to fly. I'm going to spend thousands of dollars to show up to the UK, knock on your door and say, hey, you know that skate park back in Las Vegas? I don't like when scooter riders are there. Well, see you later. I came to the UK and said it. Bye. And fly back home. Like, I get it. I get it. It's like you being a tough guy. I get it. Okay, but like, at what point do you one day wake up and look in the mirror and say like, oh, none of these threats have ever meant anything. They never could. You know what I mean? I feel like it's less threatening. I feel like I don't want to get too much into it, but I feel like it's negative threatening when you make a threat knowing that it can never happen. I think it's the opposite. I think it's sort of like a love. It's a version of love. It's so opposite of threatening that it's loving. Like if I said, hey, show sheepy, if me and you ever invest in Elon Musk's new company and fly to Mars, and then we get there and then we argue about who's eating the last French fry, and then I punch you in the stomach, and then you do a double backflip and then bowl a turkey, and then we fly back to America, I would beat your ass. I'd be like, well, that's a very strange scenario. It's so unlikely that you made this threat of violence that I feel like it actually is a threat of love. I think what you're saying to me is that you could never, ever find it in your heart to hurt me in any way. I feel like that's what actually is being said. If you break it all the way down, what you're actually saying is, I would never hurt you. Has anyone ever thought of it like that? Has anyone ever thought of these fake internet threats as a strange way to say I love you? You know what I mean? Hey, man, I live in a complete another country. I'm never going to see you, but if I do, I'd beat your ass. But since I'm not going to ever do that, I miss you, baby. I think it's just a declaration. How do you fucking say it? A declaration. It's a declaration of love. That's what I think. So Sheepy says, I like your positive take on it. I don't think it's a positive take. I think this is a logical way to look at it. Maybe I'll do a whole YouTube video on this because I feel like I freestyled this whole idea, by the way, and I feel like I might have just came up with something really philosophical that I feel like we can apply to our civilization. I should have been a Scientologist. I should have been a sociologist. I should have been a Scientologist. Let's skip over to the news real quick, and then we'll probably wrap up this podcast. The news, first one. This is a Las Vegas news. 4 killed in 7 vehicle collision at West Las Vegas intersection. Now, before we read this, I'll just kind of explain to you what happened. 3 people were in this car, just living their life, being cool. I think 2 of them were children. Another car behind them was speeding. This first car sitting at the red light, just doing nothing, probably just singing a song, probably just jamming to some great music. Car behind them, probably in a hurry for no goddamn reason, smashes into them, and then all 4 people die. Now, one of the Metro police came out today and basically said what everyone was thinking. Slow the fuck down. There's no reason to drive like a fucking asshole. Especially in the rain. It's been raining here in Las Vegas for the past 5 days. There's no fucking reason, and I experience this every single day I try to drive somewhere. Now, the traffic here is not terrible, but it's not great. It's not LA traffic, but there's a lot of cars on the road all the time here. And there's a lot of people behind the wheel on any given day that are shit-faced drunk, no matter what time of day it is. This is Las Vegas. Motherfuckers drink and do drugs and drive, and they drive fucking crazy all hours of the day. And here's the thing. No reason to be in a fucking hurry. Just because you're sober or whatever, even if you're a great driver, no fucking reason to put anyone else at risk, because it might not even be you that makes the first mistake. It might be the car next to you that makes one little small mistake. Maybe they go over the dots or go over the line a little bit, and then it fucks you up, and then you fuck somebody else up. Next thing you know, 3 fucking people are dead who did nothing wrong. And I don't mean to say this so angrily, but I feel like I've been dealing with this for my entire life. I'm driving down the street, I'm going 5 miles over the speed limit, and I have some asshole tailgating the shit out of me for multiple miles, and I see it happening. I see them pull up at 70 miles per hour in a 35, come 2 inches away from my fucking bumper, ride my ass for a mile, and then go around me, and I don't fucking understand what, like, no, you're not going towards the hospital. I know there's not a child being born in your car. I have no fucking idea what the point of that is. And there's really no reason to do it. And that's the message that the Metro cop was saying today. And usually I don't pull the whole high and mighty on the road kind of, I usually don't pull this card out. But there's no fucking reason to be in that much of a hurry. Half the time, you're going to get there, what? If you hit a couple of red lights, you're going to be 5 minutes late. Nothing's going to happen if you're 5 minutes late. There's very few, even your fucking job, if you're 5 minutes late, you'll get one little point marked off, and then whatever, you should have left earlier. It's just annoying. If you guys are watching this right now on Twitch or on YouTube, you can see these pictures. Look how fucked these cars are. No fucking shit. Everyone in there's dead because they caught fire and exploded, and it's just a mess. We'll quickly read through this. 4 people were killed in a collision at a West Las Vegas intersection Thursday evening. This is the day after fucking Christmas. Okay? 2 of these people were kids, I think. The multiple vehicle crash happened about 5:26 p.m. This is in the middle of the day. Middle of the fucking day. 5:26, you're waiting at a red light. Some douchebag crashes into you. 4 people were killed and 2 additional people were injured. According to Metro, a speeding car hit another from behind, forcing it into the intersection. The cars that were pushed together burst into flames. The driver of the speeding car died. 3 people in the car they hit died, including a child. Bystanders rescued 2 other people involved in the crash, including another child. 2 people were in the hospital. A total of 7 vehicles were involved in the collision. Crews with the city of Las Vegas were on scene cleaning debris and fuel spills for about 12 hours. So that's just a real quick article just to remind you guys, if you're in a city or even if you're in a fucking smaller place, no reason to drive crazy. I think a lot of the times we forget how crazy a car accident can be. A big car hits a little car, even if you're going 20 miles per hour, you can really, really fuck someone up. So imagine this guy going whatever the fuck he was going, 70 miles per hour, hit somebody in a parked car doing nothing, and then a bunch of people died. They probably didn't even see this guy coming. Maybe the driver looked in his rear view and said, oh, I'm about to die, but the other 2 people in the car probably just sitting there, chill, and then they explode, and then their bodies burned, and now we have a bunch of sad family members that could have all avoided this if one fucking asshole just drove like a goddamn human being. Oh, it makes me angry. Okay, speaking of getting angry, Oh, wait, this is not the super angry one. This one's actually hilarious. Iowa woman said she ran over a 14-year-old girl because she, quote, was a Mexican. And if you look at this person's face, I'm not saying that there's like a I'm not saying that there's a face of a racist, but kind of like when you look at somebody, you can kind of tell they've done meth for the past 10 years. Sometimes you can look at somebody's mugshot and just tell that they're a racist person. Let's read the article. I just thought it was funny that you would outright fucking just admit it. Like, yeah, dude, I ran over that bitch because she's Mexican. She was only 14. Yeah, quinceañera was coming up. Don't give a fuck. An Iowa woman was charged with attempted murder after running over a 14-year-old girl, saying she did it because the teenager was a Mexican. Nicole Marie Poole Franklin, 42, was arrested on other charges and Thursday admitted to Clive police. She hit the girl with her vehicle on December 9th, about 9 miles from Des Moines. The girl was walking to Indian Hills Junior High when a vehicle drove onto the sidewalk, ran over her, and left the scene. Holy shit. That is insane. So she went out of her way, potentially damaging her car, just to run over a little girl. Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Lock this person up. Please lock this person up forever. During her interview with detectives, Poole Franklin, a Des Moines resident, said she was the driver and intentionally struck the girl because, quote, she was Mexican. She then made a series of derogatory statements about Latinos. Oh, well, at least you're open about it, I guess. I can't fault you on trying to pretend you're not something that you are. Authorities are looking at whether her running the girl over was a hate crime. I mean, if you say you ran somebody over because of their race, I don't know how much more investigating needs to be done. Can we all agree on that in the chat? If you say you ran over someone specifically because they were Mexican and then, quotes, made a series of derogatory statements, I mean, I'm not a big fan of using the term hate crime because, you know, it's just a crime. You know what I mean? A crime is a crime. But if we're using the term hate crime in this situation, if you're going to use that term, I feel like this is a good place for it to apply. We're going to present all of that information to the prosecutors, and ultimately they will make the determination on what crimes to prosecute. Now, here's my thing. I didn't pick this so that we could laugh at this chick or say that it's a funny story. I picked this to be really open with you guys. There's a lot of times in the world where I kind of forget that this type of racism exists. It's hard for me to read this story and not sort of laugh at the just the entire context of it. Like, it's hard for me to read this and think to myself, this is a real person that really tried to kill another person for no reason other than the color of their skin. And it's hard for me to imagine that people like that exist, right? We say a lot of like, oh, everyone's a fucking Nazi. Everyone hates blacks. Everyone this, everyone that. But I meet a lot of people. I know a lot of people. And despite knowing and having met thousands of people over the years, it's very rarely I meet someone who's actually truly racist. And I start to think to myself, when this type of news comes out, it's overblown. You guys remember the Jussie Smollett case? I remember reading that right away, and I was like, dude, this is fishy. This is stupid. It makes no sense. And then we had the other one where they said somebody cut off the chick's hair because she was black or something. I read that, and I went, probably not true. That kind of sounds stupid. And both of those stories ended up coming out to be false. But you read a story like this, and you go, wait a minute. This is real. This is a real fucking horrible person who did a real fucking horrible thing, and it's hard to remember that these people exist out there. I mean, it's the same way with, like, you know, really violent murders and rapes and shit. You know, you hear all this shit and you kind of become numb to it, but then to really read an article that you're like, whoa, people really are out there getting raped. People really are out there just walking to fucking school getting run over because racist people exist. And it's kind of like an eye-opener, you know, because so often we see these stories end up being fake. And to get a real one that seems really real, and to also put a face to the name, it's really eye-opening, I think. So let's move on to another terrible fucking story. The story of Dumbo, one of the biggest clowns in Disney history with gigantic ears. This lady looks exactly like that fucking elephant. A mother was sentenced to 7 years in prison for injecting feces into her son's IV during cancer treatment. I was hoping the story would come up because I read it this morning on Twitter. Let's quickly skim through it. An Indiana mother accused of injecting fecal matter into her 15-year-old son's IV bag has been sentenced to 7 years in prison. Let's remember, this is 7 years in prison. So let's go ahead and read exactly how crazy this is because it's nuts. She was arrested and charged in 2016 after she used a syringe to inject feces into her son's IV while he was undergoing cancer treatment. She knowingly placed him, quote, in a situation that endangered the dependent's life or health. Her actions were meant to get her son moved from the intensive care unit to another unit where she believed, quote, the treatment was better. So she was trying to sabotage this treatment so that her son would get moved by injecting doodoo into his body. I like that she tried to justify this in some way, but you have to be a real fucking psychopath. You have to be a real psychopathic human being to find any way to justify this, right? It's why don't you just take your child out of there and go sign up for another fucking hospital or change your fucking health insurance? There's an infinite amount of options other than ingesting human shit into someone's body. I feel like there's other options. I feel like if that is anywhere in your top 1 million options, you should be not around other human beings forever. You should be gone forever. Her son had been receiving treatment for leukemia since early August 2016 at the hospital. He was released and returned to the hospital a few days later with a fever, vomiting, and diarrhea. So in August 2016, it looks like she did the same thing because the next line says, blood tests of the boy showed organisms that are normally found in feces, causing a bacterial infection and sepsis, which an extensive medical evaluation could not explain. So she's done this before. And I think I read earlier that this kid's like 15. Okay, he's already been dealt, pardon the pun, a shit-handed life. Okay, no, it's not funny. This is not funny. Not funny. Suspecting somebody may be contaminating the patient's IV lines, hospital staff began monitoring the teenager's room with video surveillance and spotted the mother injecting a substance into his central line. Authorities said Alberts initially told investigators that she was injecting the water to, quote, flush it as the medicine that was given to him burned. She later admitted to injecting her son's own fecal matter, which she kept in a gift bag on the bathroom sink of his room. Now, you have to be a real fucking sick individual to keep your child's shit for the purpose of injecting said shit back into your child. I don't care what justification you have. You should be locked up forever. You should never, ever come out of... You should never see sunlight again. You should be locked in a dark fucking room, and you should be forced to only eat human shit for the rest of as long as you are able to survive. I know that's kind of a harsh punishment, but this is a crazy person who's doing a very cruel thing to someone who cannot defend themselves or help themselves in any way. And I think that's the lowest, like, scum that we could really think of. And we get a lot of shitty articles here on the podcast, but that one really makes me angry, okay? What a day today, man. We get a fucking speeding person that kills 4 people just because he wants to get somewhere quick. We get a woman who runs over a young child, a little girl, because she's Mexican. And then we get this psychopath who damages her own son's body just for who fucking knows why. This is just a crazy person. This is no different than those serial killers in, the 80s or whatever, that just eat people. They eat people and wear their skin on their face and shit. Whatever those people got sentenced to, that's what this person should get. Just fucking prison forever. It's crazy. It's disgusting. I don't understand it. And I don't ever want to understand it. But that's really all I have for the news here. And I think that's also all I have for the whole podcast. Oh, we did not yet talk about the 21-year-old cigarette thing. So I guess the entire country, the new age to buy cigarettes and tobacco products is 21. I don't have an article for that because I guess I just really didn't prepare for one. But that's kind of crazy. I feel like this new law came out of nowhere. And initially, I had read that military members could be grandfathered in, but that was later taken away. First off, that never made sense. But second off, it's kind of like, I mean, you're 18 years old. You're allowed to buy a gun. You're allowed to die for your country, but you can't smoke a fucking cigarette. Is that what is freedom? You know what I mean? What is freedom anymore? And I get it. You know, cigarettes and tobacco products cause, you know, a big strain on our health care. You know what I mean? We have half the country fucking dying of heart disease and complications related to maybe smoke or maybe secondhand smoke. But this law came out of nowhere, and I get it. It's probably for a good cause, but I think when you're 18 years old, you're old enough to fucking know if you want to smoke a cigarette or not. I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that, either in the comments now or in the comments of this YouTube video. By the way, if you tuned in a little bit later today, don't worry. If you missed the first half of the podcast, you can rewatch it on Sunday. This podcast comes out on iTunes, Podbean, and YouTube, so definitely check that out. But I'd prefer you guys to watch the podcast live right here on twitch.tv/Ninja Lifestyle every single Friday, right around 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Everybody in the chat who stuck around, go ahead and give me a hell yeah so I can shout everybody out. Also, thank you to Chic Ninja 420 for the resubscribe. Her message was, "You're awesome, bro. It's good to be back." It is good to be back. It's good to have you back, Chic Ninja. If you guys want to watch her playing video games with her children, you guys can follow her at Chic Ninja 420X. And shout out to Watson Punk, OG Mickey, Show Sheepy, Gino HBK, Sony VX1000, the San Jose Sharks fan. Sorry, your team lost last week, you fucking bitch. Gaij is in the chat, and everybody else. I always appreciate those of you who tuned in live. Rayback92. Also, shout out to the winner of the sticker pack today. I don't remember who it was, but I'm sure they've already contacted me on Instagram, so they will be getting a free sticker pack. Don't forget, Stop Crying Poser, one of the only podcasts that I know of that gives you a free sticker pack every single time I do it. Also, I do this entire podcast by myself, so I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could spread the word, maybe share the podcast on your social media one day, or tell a friend, maybe a coworker. I think we do a pretty good job here of being entertaining. The point is to entertain you guys. Also, I love doing it. I love doing this just as much as I love doing Ninja Review. You guys know I can sit here and ramble forever, and I feel like I'm kind of talented in that regard. I could probably do this for multiple hours if I wanted to, and I kind of do when we're playing video games. So if you guys are video game fans, make sure to actually follow me on twitch.tv/Ninja Lifestyle to watch me playing Mario World, so you guys can see exactly what the fuck I do. Other than that, stick around. There will be a short post show today. I'll hang out and chat with you guys about whatever you guys might want to chat about. And as always, I greatly appreciate all of you guys. Can't do this without you. I mean, I could, but it would be very much less interesting. So I always appreciate all of you guys, especially you, Venus Die Traps. Now let's go ahead and play that motherfucking intro, goddammit. Motherfucker, what? Hey, the thing is, though, when two dudes is fighting and arguing, when two dudes is fighting, it's actually what women don't understand. It means we're friends. Friends.